Shimo Kitazawa, a developing bastion for modern pop culture for the people of Tokyo. It's very well known for its music scene, its fashion stores, and it's where the anime Bocchi the Rock takes place in. You can get a new outfit, get a nice hot meal, or a coffee, and then all on top of that, you can listen to your favorite new live bands that's been up and coming. And all of this for a very reasonable price. But for me, a NEET who can appreciate good fashion when it's presented to me, but also have a weakness to crowds and loud music, I did wonder how this experience would be for someone like me. Maybe I can find something nice to draw.
Hello, fellow NEETs. So, right now, I'm in a back alley in Shimo Kitazawa. One thing that's crazy about these back alleys, even, is that they're not sketchy at all. Like, you can just be here and not worry about anybody stabbing you or drugs or whatever. Like, there's just kids walking by me right there. I don't know where they're going. Isn't that crazy? Look at this back alley. See this? Absolutely nothing suspicious here at all, except for me and Orange Jesus here. Say hi.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, me and Orange Jesus here, just in this back alley, recording, and then there's, like, 10-year-olds. I don't know, they look like elementary schoolers just walking down here like it's nothing. That's crazy to me. I never expect something like this. Anyways, since this place is like really known for its cool fashion, and I'm really known to be a cool and fashionable person, I'm going to try to show you a bit around of the things I saw here, and maybe we can just find a place to go draw. Doesn't that sound great? All right, let's get started. So, interesting thing walking around here is you notice just everybody has this, like this crazy sense of style in Japan. Like, it's not about name brands or anything, it's more about just expressing your own creativity with your way, like your clothing. And one thing I've always liked to do was I like to buy used clothes. I very rarely buy clothes like new, and that's just something that I've done for a long time. Partially because it's cheaper, and I think it's more fun when you just find stuff on your own, to be honest. I think value in things should be personal to you and you only. It doesn't have to be everybody thinks it's cool. If as long as you think it's interesting or cool, I think that's all that matters, really. An interesting thing to see is that even among all these buildings here, these these shops and these buildings. Hey, you're blocking my shot.
Stop recording.
So, among all these buildings, you can still see there's a traditional shrine here for people to pray at. And I think that's just such an interesting blend of culture, where you have such modern pop culture along with the along with the culture that's been there for centuries. It's a really unique mix, and I think very few places have stuff like this. So also in Japan, there's a very common style called Americano. And Americano is basically just used American clothes, I think mostly from like the 1990s/1980s, to get this sort of kind of like trying to be American, but it's still very much Japanese, clearly. It's a very unique look that comes from Tokyo and Osaka. I think they also have a lot of Americano in Osaka as well. You can find a lot of name brand drip like Sorry, KFC. McDonald's is my type. Very beautiful. This is actually a really nice quality feeling sweater, but I don't think anybody here actually knows what this says. It is pretty hilarious though. Or for example, in this store, they have kind of khaki wear here and whatever. And then you have the UPS drip. I think this might be a racing jacket or something, but it just has UPS on it. I don't think anybody here knows what UPS actually is. Or if you wanted to really be out there, you got this Home Depot drip right here with Rigid, I think is a hardware company. It's spelled wrong. And I think this logo is just not even, I'm pretty sure it's, okay. I'm pretty sure this logo is just not the actual Home Depot logo. It's sort of just trying to mimic it because you can see this part has an outline. These part that's not cohesive with these other two parts. Also, it's a rectangle instead of a square. It's just you can see so many used stores. You can actually just buy whatever you want used secondhand. It's not wasteful because they're not brand new clothes, and you get a lot more interesting designs and stuff from places that you would never imagine. I honestly have no idea how they even get some of these clothes. Like I've seen security guard outfits, just straight up security guard outfits in these stores, and like badges from like the New York police or like the New York like an ambulance drivers or something. I don't know. Even like military jackets, like actual military jackets. I have no clue where they got these, but I'm sure some of these are even taken from people who died, maybe. So I know I'm gonna get copyright dinged for the music playing in the background, but it was getting a bit cold, so I decided to stop at Skia. So they are a shop that specializes in gyudon, which is a Japanese rice dish with shaved meat on top. Although they also sell curry, so I got the curry. I got one of their curry dishes that's new, so I'm gonna see how that is. They also have a hot tea dispenser. You can have nice green tea here. It's very relaxing, especially for cold days like this where you feel like you're getting the chills on the inside. Alright. I gotta wait for my food to arrive. So this is the big curry here. Believe it or not, this meal is only $10 for all of this. Tea, miso soup, tofu, and a big bowl of curry and rice. I don't know why, but for some reason some people say that Japan has very small serving sizes. To me, this looks pretty big. I don't understand what people are saying. Especially for $10, this is like a huge steal. Something like this in Canada would cost like more than $20. So before I start eating, I'm gonna try to draw the food I'm eating, just cause ritual, I don't know. So today I'm gonna be using my Mujirushi pocket note and my Copic Multiliner SP here. And so I'm just gonna try to draw as fast as possible so that I can eat. So I'm gonna start with laying the outlines for the of bowls. I guess these are styrofoam. So I'm just gonna do these outlines here as fast as I can because it seems like the easiest thing to do right now. Just doing these is like pretty fast actually. It's doing alright. But it's one thing, I just love how affordable the food is in Japan. It's really nice and it's all food that I really like. Very good food. Seems a lot healthier than eating food in Canada or eating out in Canada. Because of that reason, I don't generally like to eat out in Canada, but in Japan, it's gonna be hard not to be honest. It's just a nice big meal for $10 is like that's kind of hard to beat. So while I was talking, I got the outlines for the trays here. And to get the curves of this tray here, I'm trying to draw sort of shading, but I'm not trying to be super tough on it. Like I don't want to draw a hard line. There we go. And then that gives it sort of this like sloped look to it. So if you want to make sort of like slopes, I recommend trying just vertical lines if you have a similar style to me, if it works for you. It really helps with drawing stuff like this. So I add just some lines here, just to indicate the slope. Then I can draw like sort of the curry. And then draw the outline for the chicken here. This chicken looks so good. Oh, my mouth is just kind of watering. But I don't get to eat it yet. And then you have this purple red ginger. This is called beni shoga. Beni shoga. And it's a pickled ginger. And I don't know how they make it red, but it's got the ginger flavor that's sort of mitigated. It's muddled. But it has a little bit of a sour and sweetness to it. And it's much different than the red pickled ginger you find in America or Canada. I think I definitely like it a lot better here in Japan. They prepare it much better. So I'm drawing some of the things here, the rice bits, and then some of the black charred bits here on the chicken. Gives it some nice texture. So you got nice textured chicken here. And then I'm just gonna darken the curry here because it is darker. So I'm gonna give it some nice sort of slightly curved lines, but not too straight, because then if you could make it straight, it kind of loses all its texture. But I don't want it to be too textured that it doesn't look like it's soup. There it goes, adds to the side. That's someone else being called there. Gonna draw more lines here. This miso soup, oh, I love miso soup actually. It's really refreshing to have just like a miso soup in your meal. It definitely helps you digest. Feels good in your stomach. and it has like these little flakes of seaweed in them. I really like that. I like the seaweed a lot too. So I'm just gonna draw like circular lines here to indicate the soup. Again, not trying to add too much texture, so it is mostly smooth looking. And then I have a piece of tofu here. It has a lot of pieces of onion on it, some green onion. So that's gonna add lots of texture to it. And then you just draw the tofu, which is pretty simple. There we go. Fairly simple. Maybe just add the little shadow of the tray. And that's gonna be this finish, and we could start eating. So I got my chopsticks here. I'm gonna rip them up open. I can figure out how to. And then we break these. Itadakimasu. So I'm gonna start with
18番のお客様、添乗口までお越しください。
So I'm gonna start with eating a little bit of the tofu here. I know a lot of people don't like tofu because it's bland. This looks like some shredded ginger on top, as well as on top of the onion. Yeah, that is ginger. This is uncooked tofu. It's completely raw tofu. It has a very silky texture. You can taste it in the soybean. I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it because they think it's bland. But it's just the mild soybean texture. It's like eating good rice. I think that's what makes tofu really great. And then you get a little slurp of this miso soup. There, it's not mixed yet, but so I got the miso soup. It's nice and warm for your throat. It's a bit salty. It's definitely a nice thing to finish off your meal with, just to satisfy your stomach with that nice warm soup afterwards. So the next thing we can try here
50番
is
のお客様、添乗口までお越しください。
the next thing we can try here is this chicken and curry with rice and the beni shoga, pickled ginger. Unless actually this isn't pickled ginger. I think it's radish. I think this is pickled radish, actually. I'm gonna get a spoon for the curry. This is actually a spork, okay. So I'm gonna try a little bit of the curry here. You can definitely taste the spices. It's got a little bit of a sweet flavor to it. It's mostly salty. It's like a demi-glace, or it's like a little bit of a gravy sauce, but then it has the spices added to it. It's a little hard to explain the spices, but it's a little bit like cumin-y and stuff. And then it has a mild sweetness to it. I'm pretty sure in Japan they add a lot of, or they add apple to the curry to give it the little sweet aftertaste. I think it's really well done. Though it's a very tasteful amount of sweetness. So on top of that, you have some, I think, chopped onion here. Or not. What is that? It's really sweet. It's like some sort of sweet pickled vegetable. That's pretty good. And then I can try some of the chicken here. The chicken's pretty nicely cooked. And you can add it with curry. And you can use the rice and the pickled radish as a palate cleanser. So you got all the saltiness.
お客様、
You got
電車口までお越しください。
you got all the salty flavor from the curry, and now your mouth is filled with salt, so you need to cleanse your palate with some rice and some radish. As well as having a bit of tofu helps with the palate cleansing. That's pretty good. Well, I am going to finish the rest of this, so see you in a bit. Well, I finally finished my meal. I'm absolutely stuffed. That was a lot of food, and that was only $10, which is crazy. If I lived here and there was just food this cheap for like this much food for this cheap, I'd just be tempted to eat out every single day too. I definitely can see why people here eat out more. Yo, wait, I just realized, is this guy wearing Homer Simpson shoes? That's some nice drip. So one thing to note is that if you leave a restaurant, if you are very satisfied with the food, a way to show gratitude is you say "ごちそうさまでした" to the cook. Not everybody does it. You don't have to do it, but some people do it. I noticed some salarymen do it who are very more obsessed with respectfulness, but not everybody does it. I don't know, sometimes it's just fun and satisfying to say. This is one of my favorite restaurants, Ikinari Steak. This is the very steak, the big cut of steak. I love that line. That speaks wonders to my heart. I'm like emotionally moved from that line. So today, my walking around in Shimokitazawa was pretty interesting. I would say it is a very cool place. Although for me, it's a little bit stressful to be around a big crowd of people. There are still areas where there's less people, at least. So NEETs can still enjoy to some extent. I would just do it in small bursts. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.